we are on to one of the closest. I feel like it's close every time whenever we get near the playoffs here, but I don't know. It's getting real close, real fast. The AFC is very, very, very competitive, very tight when it comes to the playoffs. The NFC is pretty straightforward. I mean, we kind of know who's already going to be in the playoffs in the NFC. The AFC is just a straight toss-up. You don't know who's going to be in there. But it's coming down to the wire. The fact that the Texans and the Broncos have a chance to be in the playoffs right now is pretty crazy. Who would have thought? You know what I mean? But either way, I'm excited. It's been a long time since the Broncos have been, this efficient, this late into the season. But yeah. So we're kicking things off on Thanksgiving. Hopefully everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Or just, a great time. Had some good food. Watched some okay games. We had the Packers and the Lions. Lions, I should have known were going to lose this game, but they won. They got completely destroyed by the Packers. Not completely destroyed. The score is a lot closer than it was. But, Jordan Love, perfect game. Probably his best game of the year. And, Jared Goff lost this game, I believe, for the Lions. The turnovers the last 2 weeks have been insane. He's been just turning the ball over like crazy, fumbling it, just not playing good football. The Packers were just playing good defense, I believe, this entire game, kind of up until the end, though, and just creating pressure. Just hands down, were just in control, pretty much. It felt like they were in control the whole game. They had less possession time, less first downs, and they won the game. Pretty straightforward. Just a really, really bad game by the Lions. Like I said, Jordan Love, probably his best game of the year. Next, we're moving on to the 3 o'clock game with the Commanders and the Cowboys. I'm pretty sure everyone knew that the Cowboys were going to win this game, but 45-10. You don't get blown out on Thanksgiving. You just don't. I feel like the Bills and Eagles game would have been a better Thanksgiving game than the 49ers and the Seahawks. That would have been a really, really great game. I feel like this game should have been Friday. Because, who wants to see this game? They should have flexed this to Friday, moved the Dolphins and Jets to Sunday, because no one wants to watch this game. This game was over before it kind of started. At the end of the half, this game was already feeling out of reach. The Commanders just couldn't do anything offensively. Cowboys were just shutting them down in all aspects. And, the fourth quarter comes along and they score 25 points. Commanders, the score looks a lot worse than technically what the game was. The Commanders ended up having to go for it on fourth down every time they got to fourth down. And they didn't convert on any of them. So, they missed out on a lot of points. At least a lot of field goals. It could have been 16, to 31. That's technically probably what the score should have been. But, they still lost by double digits. This was just it was just a beatdown. They had 13 more minutes of possession time and lost this game by a substantial amount of points, and just in every possible way just got destroyed. Out of, they just did horrible. Hands down horrible. There's nothing else to really say. It was just a complete blowout, waste of a 3 o'clock game, especially on Thanksgiving. In my opinion, this should not have been. This should have definitely been flexed, but Cowboys and Commanders have been playing on Thanksgiving since the dawn of time, so it had to happen. The final game of the night, we had the 49ers and the Seahawks. And everyone knew the 49ers were going to win this. It was pretty straightforward. But I don't know why it's not loading here. There we go. Brock Purdy didn't really have an amazing game. Neither quarterback did. I mean, Geno Smith for sure didn't. He had probably his worst game of the season. Christian McCaffrey was going crazy, though. What's going on here? Okay, that was weird. Christian McCaffrey probably had his best game, in my opinion, of the season. Completely decimated the Seahawks. He was going crazy in the pass game and the run game. I mean, he was just doing it all. Blocking, he even had a couple great blocks. 49ers just completely annihilated them on all three phases. Just absolutely no chance for the Seahawks. They were just, pressure was consistent. But yeah, everyone contributed to this win. Very efficient three-way win. As you can see here, I mean, the 49ers had 11 more minutes of possession time, more first downs, better third down conversions, more rushing yards, more passing. I mean, they just, all three phases just completely destroyed the Seahawks. I did get the Packers-Lions game wrong. I got the Cowboys-49ers game correct. I would say, though, I wasn't really entertained by the games. These were all boring games, in my opinion. The 12 o'clock one was actually a lot better than I was expecting, especially because it was an upset. But, I mean, I wasn't really entertained watching football this year. And I actually had to work Friday. We had the Dolphins and the Jets in New York. New Jersey. And this game was a complete waste of time. This game should not have even been on Friday. Why there was a game even on Friday, I don't know. And especially at 2 o'clock. Make it at least at 5 o'clock. Why do you make it at 2? It's just stupid. I mean, if you didn't pick the Dolphins to win this game, I mean, are you watching football this year? There was no entertainment in this game. Dolphins destroyed them. I mean, what else is there to say? The Jets are the first team that I've ever seen to throw a Hail Mary and get it pick sixth. I mean, you know how that's hard to do. That's very hard to do, especially when the ball lands in the end zone. You know what I mean? That's very difficult to do. But, I mean, there's not really anything to go off of. Double the first downs. Almost double the third down conversions. More rushing yards, more passing yards. They sacked more times. They committed less penalties. They had 11 more minutes of possession time. I mean, what a complete stupid game to put for Friday. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers was technically supposed to play, but I mean, really? Let's go to some entertaining games now. We had the Jaguars at the Texans. This came down to the wire. Trevor Lawrence had a 350-plus game. He did have a pick, though. C.J. Stroud had a really good game, 300 yards, 2 picks, good passer rating. Nico Collins and I forgot the rookie's name, that receiver. What's his name? I always forget this guy's name. What's his first name? Is it Tank Dell? I think it is. Yeah, Tank Dell. This guy, what a connection him and CJ Stroud have. I mean, it's pretty remarkable what they're able to be doing as rookies and have this type of chemistry. It's really very, just sort of a testament on the amount of work they put in the offseason, getting that chemistry down. Calvin Ridley has been a little bit quiet these last couple weeks, but he had a really good game this week. But I believe the Texans had Nico Collins and Tank Dell. I think they both had 100 yards. Or Tank Dell had like almost 60 yards. And Nico Collins had 100 yards. So pretty good. But as you can see here, I mean, this was a pretty evenly matched except for the possession time. This came down to the ending kick. It was going to go to OT. Who knows what was going to happen next. And I actually really needed the Texans to win this game. And they lost. Super tough break for the missed field goal, hitting the crossbar to tie it, go to OT. Been there. It stings. But, yeah. Obviously, I got the Dolphins game right. I did get the Texans game wrong. I did have the Texans winning this, and they lost. But let's go on to the Steelers at Cincinnati. I did have the Steelers winning this game. And this game could have been easily won by the Bengals. They just couldn't get anything going in terms of making a play. They couldn't make a play. They couldn't convert, keep drives alive. I mean, look here. They have 2 first downs, two third down completions in the entire game. I mean, you can't win a game like that. The Steelers had 60% more first downs. 4 times the amount of third down conversions, more rushing yards. I mean, they only had 25 rushing yards. You can't win a game with 25 rushing yards. 15 more minutes of possession time. I mean, they just bled this clock. But yeah. Next we have the Panthers and the Titans. I did get this game correct as well. I did have the Titans winning this. This game was a lot closer than it was intended. The Panthers, I just feel like they can't get into any rhythm. They can't keep drives alive. They can't execute plays. They don't have a playmaker. And when you have all that with a horrible offensive line, this team is not going to be productive in the slightest on the offensive side. They did fire Frank Reich finally. I don't even know why he was even offered the job. Makes no sense. But yeah. Bryce Young, Will Levis, both didn't have great games. Neither team was really, in my opinion, trying to win this game. Derrick Henry, if he didn't have a okay game, Panthers would have won this game. But as you can see here, I mean, this was a very, very easily... This was a game that they should have won. Easily should have won. But, the Panthers just couldn't pull it through. They had 7 more minutes of possession time. Less penalties committed. Less punts. It's just this offensive line and the lack of playmakers on the offensive side is what's keeping this team at 1-10. Next we have the Saints and the Falcons. Pretty boring game in my opinion. I did have the Saints winning this game. It was, decently close, 9-14 going into the half, and then, at the end of the third quarter, 12-14, they still have a chance, and then they just couldn't do anything. They just couldn't get points. I mean, Derek Carr couldn't help his team get points. And the amount of turnovers that the Falcons were having, and they just still couldn't win, is just pretty pathetic. Chris Olave probably has the best game of the season. Him and Drake London finally actually contributing for once. As you can see here, the Falcons did better pretty much in every category except the possession time, and the passing. But it should have been an easy game, for the Saints to win, and they managed to choke this. The Falcons' record is not something like this is the worst 5-6 team I've ever seen. Next we have the Bucs and the Colts. I did have the Bucs winning this game, so I did get this game incorrect. Baker Mayfield had a pretty decent game, Even Rashid White had a great game. He has no Buccaneers running back has had a great game, I feel like, this entire season. And the one time they do, they still lose. Gardner Minshew had a pretty decent game. He had a running touchdown, but was not very impressive throwing the football. But at the same time, what weapons does he have? I feel like the Colts receiving core is probably one of the fastest in the league, but it's just one of the most bland. There's no big playmaker, no big body receivers, and the tight ends are just non-existent most of the time. But Jonathan Taylor did go crazy this game. 6 yards a carry, two touchdowns. He was a big reason why the Colts won this game. But as you can see here, 9 more first downs, more possession time. This game it just felt like completely in control for the Colts for the most part. Whoa. Next, we have the Patriots and the Giants. The last 12 o'clock game. I picked the Patriots to win. I really thought Bill Belichick and the Patriots could, find a way to stop Tommy DeVito, but clearly I was wrong. Mac Jones, benched again. 2 picks. Blake Zappi came in, didn't do anything better. Tommy DeVito had 1 touchdown, 191 yards. Let me see here. Saquon obviously didn't do anything. Stevenson had a great game. I believe Zeke even had a couple of good third down plays. But this was just a very, just a complete, utter failure of a game for the Patriots. The fact that they can't do anything, it's just pathetic. I've never seen the Patriots this down bad. They had 10 first downs the entire game. This team is just pathetic, sad to watch, lifeless, no talent. The Patriots are just... I've never seen the Patriots like that. Next, we have the 3 o'clock games. We have the Rams and the Cardinals. I did have the Rams winning this. If you didn't, I'm not sure if you watch football. Kyler Murray had an okay game. Kyron Williams had the best game of his entire career. James Conner, if you want to call him a contributor, had 27 yards. Tyler Higbee had 2 big red zone touchdowns. Marquise Brown probably had his best game. I feel like Marquise Brown probably has one of the worst careers in the league. It didn't work with him and Lamar. They couldn't get a connection. They couldn't get chemistry going. And then he gets traded, to the Cardinals. Kyler Murray's still hurt, so he's just playing with these trash quarterbacks. Not Joshua Dobbs, but yeah. And then Kyler Murray's back, and they still can't, get a connection. Just really stupid. But as you can see here, the Rams just dominated every category, pretty much. Just was full control of this game. Played great defense, shut down the Cardinals, and put up a bunch of points. Next, we have the Chiefs and the Raiders. I will say that The Raiders had this, man. The Raiders had this going into the half, tied up, and then they just fell apart the second half. I mean, this was an easily winnable game for the Raiders, and they just choked it away. The defense just couldn't step up in the second half. They just couldn't step up. Offense wasn't really helping contribute either, but you got to win this type of game. You just have to. I mean, you can see here for the stats, I mean, the Chiefs dominated pretty much in a lot of these categories and barely beat them. It's just really annoying to see teams fall apart, at the half. The Chiefs are probably the best second half team because they learn you. You know what I mean? Next we have the Bills and the Eagles. This was a great game. Came down to the wire. Came down to overtime. The Bills were, fighting. Really fighting. 17-7 going into the half. And then the, Eagles make a insane comeback in the fourth quarter. End up taking it to OT. Josh Allen can't get it done. Kicks a field goal. And, Eagles have like 5 minutes to go down the field and score. And what do? They score. Made a super clutch field goal to even take it to overtime. So shout out to Jake Elliott for that amazing kick in the rain. But this was just an entertaining game, back and forth. Came down the wire, came down the very end. Just a great game. This game, like I said, this should have been Friday or even Thanksgiving night. You know what I mean? But the Bills had more first downs. They were technically better on third down conversions, but less rushing yards. They had more passing yards. 14 more minutes of possession time, and they still lost this game. I mean, this was a close game. It wasn't even a significant game in terms of, like, if the Eagles would have lost, it wouldn't have mattered. But I'm just glad they beat the Bills because that is something that definitely needed to happen. Next, we're going to go over the Browns and the Broncos. DTR, we hurt him. He ends up going out with a concussion. The refs in this game were the worst refs the Broncos have had all season. They were calling penalties not only on us, but on the Browns for every little thing. They were not letting them play football. This was a highly managed, highly penalized game, and it was very annoying to watch. Russell Wilson probably had about 80-something yards this entire game, maybe 90-something. He had 2 throws at the end to extend that to 134. But he did have a really long completion, probably like 35, 40 yards, to Courtland Sutton that was negated on a really tic-tac penalty. But yeah, the run game, we were just balancing out P. Ryan and Williams, just being efficient and just really great. Russell Wilson made some big plays on third down. I mean, the O-line did amazing stopping Myles Garrett. He did get hurt, so it was a lot easier after like the first quarter or something. But yeah, I mean, we held them to 2-13 on third down efficiency, and I feel like that was like in the first quarter. But this was just a very team win for the Broncos. Not really much to go off of. It was a really big blowout. The Browns were always they were always there, but they just couldn't get it done just with the amount of pressure that the Broncos were putting on defense. And, I mean, just shout out to the Broncos defense on this game. Next, we had a pretty boring Sunday night. We had the Ravens and the Chargers. This game could have went either way. Chargers just decided to not play football in the fourth quarter. Lamar, still very lackluster year. He hasn't been making huge highlight plays. He has a breakout game every now and then, but he's not a consistent game wrecker. Someone that you need to heavily plan for. Justin Herbert had a, okay game. He still isn't, in my opinion, like a top 3 quarterback, how everyone has him. But yeah, Austin Eckler, they contained him, which is a big reason why the Ravens won as well. But just a good win for the Ravens. Very good win, especially. I guess technically, the Ravens needed to lose here. Would help the Broncos' chances, but yeah, as you can see here, Ravens have more third downs and more possession time. I mean, that just kind of keeps drives alive, more chances to score. Next, we have the last game of the week. We have Monday night, Bears and the Vikings. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't pay a lot of attention to this game. This game was so boring. Joshua Dobbs cannot throw 4 picks against one of the worst defenses in the league. Justin Fields didn't even have an amazing game. He had 27 completions on 217 yards. You know what that means? He's not throwing the ball in the air very long. The amount of screen passes, the amount of behind the line of scrimmage passes, this was so boring. And they won. It makes no sense. The Bears have almost no talent outside of DJ Moore and Justin Fields on the offensive side of the ball. The fact that the Vikings won this game, if they don't throw 4 picks, this was just I was so not into this game. I didn't even finish it, to be honest. 35 minutes of possession time, almost 36 minutes. That's 11 more minutes of possession time. They completed more third downs. They were better on third down. The 4 picks, and they won by 2. The fact that the Bears won this game, incredible. Next, we're going to go on to picks of the week, though, for week 13. So we're starting off Thursday night with the Seahawks coming to Dallas. Pretty easy win for the Cowboys. I don't have the Seahawks really competing in this game, per se, but we'll see. We do have the Broncos going to Houston. I will be attending this game. Best believe. Remember, I almost sold my tickets, man. Almost sold my tickets after that Bears game. If we would have lost the Bears game, I would not be attending this football game. I'm picking the Broncos, man. We have a 45 statistically chance to win this game. I think, if we contain the Texans offense, I feel like we will be able to win this game. Next, we have the Chargers and the Patriots. I do have the Chargers winning this. I have zero faith in New England anymore for the rest of the season. So until they show me something, I'm not picking them. Next, we have the Lions and the Saints. I did have the Lions winning this game. I feel like they're going to have a comeback after that embarrassing loss on Thanksgiving and the week before. Wouldn't be surprised if the Saints kind of come and steal this, but I feel like the Lions can get this done. Next, we have the Cardinals and the Steelers. I did have the Steelers winning this game. This is going to be a 50-50 game. I feel like the Cardinals can very easily beat the Steelers, but I feel like the Steelers can blow out the Cardinals with pure ease. So, I don't know. I just feel a little more confident in the Steelers in this game. Next, we have the Falcons and the Jets. I do have the Falcons winning this. Wouldn't be surprised if the Jets win, but I just feel like the Jets are just so inconsistent, and you don't know what's going on half the time, that the Falcons are just a little bit more disciplined, and I feel like a little bit more organized. Next, we have the Colts and the Titans. I did have the Colts winning this. This is a 50-50. The Titans can very easily win this game. Colts can very easily win this game. I'm picking the Colts just by a smidge. Next, we have the Dolphins and the Commanders. Dolphins are going to destroy the Commanders. There's no doubt about that. Next, we have the 3 o'clock games with the Panthers and the Buccaneers. I do have the Buccaneers winning this. Not by a lot, though. Not by a lot. Do have the Browns and the Rams at 3 o'clock as well. I do have the Rams. I just feel like not only is DTR most likely going to be hurt with a concussion, so PJ Walker's going to be in there, but the Rams just have a better offensive scheme and players than the Browns do at this moment. The last 3 o'clock game, we have the 49ers and the Eagles. It's going to be a close game. This is another toss-up. 49ers could win this game. Eagles could win this game. This is going to come down to how good Brock Purdy and how good the Eagles' defensive line is going to play. Whoever wins this game is going to be because of the Eagles' defensive line or the 49ers' Brock Purdy. I have a little bit more faith in the Eagles. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I just feel like they're a better team. Barely. But this game could go either way. Next we have Sunday night with the Chiefs and the Packers. I do have the Chiefs. I mean, I don't see how this is a Sunday night game. This game should not be Sunday night. This game should have been flexed for a 3 o'clock and move the 49ers Eagles to Sunday night. Give people a game to watch. No one wants to see the Chiefs every primetime against a garbage team. I don't want to see the Chiefs at all, to be honest. Last game of the week, we had the Bengals at the Jaguars. I do have the Jaguars winning just because Joe Burrow is hurt. And I don't... the offense just isn't the same. And we do have the Ravens, Bills, Bears, Raiders, Vikings, and Giants all on bye for this week. But that's going to kind of wrap it all up for this week. I'm excited for next week, man. I mean, Saturday I'm going to go watch some UFC fights for the first time live. Sunday I'm going to go watch the Texans Broncos game. Haven't been to a football game since the COVID season. So that was about two years ago. And haven't been to a Broncos game since they came and played Houston in 2019, where they upset the Texans at that game. One of the best days of my life. Hopefully they're able to win. People don't realize how close the AFC picture is. Look at the playoff picture for the AFC. It's so close. The Broncos can very easily win the rest of the games of the season if they play it correctly. But we'll kind of see here. I'm nervous, super nervous. I never would think that the Broncos and Texans would be competitive this late in the season, fighting for a playoff spot. But, yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will see you on next Wednesday. Like I said, this is a pretty easy, I feel like, picks week-wise, but there's a couple coin flips, you know. We'll see how everything goes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said, I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Hopefully I'm very happy. See you later.